everyone, I'm Kevin Elias, and welcome to this edition of 4 Dice Baseball, the full play baseball game in quick play time. We're going to start by explaining the game mechanics. 4 Dice Baseball is possible because you're taking the elements of quick play, combining them with a non-inning baseball game to have a full, complete baseball game. Yes, there will be statistics for every player, batters and pitchers. You'll get every realistic result possible. That's all here in 4 Dice Baseball. So what separates this game from the others? Well, playability, check. All games that are out on the market in baseball are good today. They have been for years. But no game offers you a full play game in quick play mode, as 4 Dice Baseball does. The game engine for 4 Dice Baseball is divided into 2 areas. There's the situational cards right here. 96 of them make up a full play game, but that's only part of it. Then you have the main diamond chart and the pitcher diamond charts that make up the hitters, the meat of the order, and will determine what happens every inning in 4 Dice Baseball. Let's start with the situational cards. Again, as mentioned, there are 96 in 4 Dice Baseball. How they work is this. Your situational cards will be flipped over, 1 per half inning. They will determine the outcome for the first 2 batters in the order. From there, you'll see, it'll tell you the result after the first 2 batters, if any batters are on base, first, second, or third, and then you will simply roll 4 D6s to determine what happened to those first 2 batters. What was their at-bat result? And from there, you're moving on to the meat of the order, which would then be derived by rolling off of the main diamond chart. But before we get to the main diamond chart, let's look at these situational cards. Of course, they're a lot smaller than the typical baseball card, but they go perfectly in a baseball card sleeve. Put a baseball card behind them, and there you have it. They're good, they're flexible, and they're good for sliding and wrapping up in a regular inning or game format, because you're going to shuffle the cards on a continual basis. You're going to shuffle them 3 times a game, or as often as you like, and then you'll again choose 1 card for each half inning to start your innings. But in looking at these 2 situational cards, here's what we're finding. In this first one here, this would indicate that there's 1 out in the inning and there's a runner on second base. So what happened to the runners, the first and second batters? You're going to roll 4 D6s, and that will tell you. I like to use different color D6s. I like to use any color you want, but you want to use a couple. And I'll slide it on over here. For the game itself, you're going to need 4 D6s and 2 D12s. I like to keep them uniform, so I've got green and I've got white to represent the 2 teams. So going back to the situational cards, what do? We're going to roll the 2 dice, the 4 dice actually, and see what the result will be for the first batter. As you see in this case, he's going to reach first or second by either a double, an error, a single, or a walk, or drop third strike. The second batter then, you'll roll for his outcome, and it can be anything from if there's a double, a runner on second, he will hold. There'll be a strikeout, a possible wild pitch. There'll be a strikeout. If it's a double, the second batter will strike out. Otherwise, it'll be a strikeout. If it's a single, pass ball will move the guy from first to second on down. So that explains it. And over here, you look and you say, well, gee, what happens here? We got a 1. An R means 1 out. A run has scored. And there's a runner at third base. Not first, second, but third base. In this column, we have just an HR at 6 and nothing else. Well, Some people wonder, why would that be blank? Simple. Home run applies to every roll. So no matter what you roll, the first batter knocked it out of the park. The second batter, you'll see what he did. He would either end up from a triple, single with a two-base error, gets into third, a double move up to third, a walk, a stolen base, and an error, single, gets over to third base, etc., or a double, stolen base. So that is how the situational cards work. Basically, you're looking at the outcome, the result. Where's the result in the inning? Do you have 0 outs, 1 out, or 2 outs? And are there any base runners on it? Once you've determined this and put this on your score sheet for the first 2 batters, now you're ready to go to the main diamond charts. What makes 4-dice baseball different than the others? As we mentioned before, it's a full game with a quick play mode. But what also separates this game from the others is you do have some strategy involved with your players, with your teams. Which way do you want to go? Obviously, what do we know so far? The situational cards dictate what happens to the first 2 batters of the inning. So, when you're putting together a lineup, how do you put together that lineup? Do you want to take the bat out of someone's hands by putting them in a lineup first or second or somewhere in the middle, where maybe they don't get many main diamond chart at bats because you've taken those at bats out of the hand and you're relying on a situational card? Very interesting concept. Remember, all results from 4-dice baseball are based on actual big league baseball percentages for at bats, for hits, outs, etc., to reflect a real game. So it will have realistic results. Now, we've said this from the onset. With 4-dice baseball, it's meant to quick play and it's meant to be fun, but it's also realistic in that players, batters, and pitchers alike have ratings. Batters are rated based on their ability to get hits and their ability to have power to take the ball and drive it out of the park. Pitchers are based on power pitchers, the ability to surrender hits, strike out batters, walk batters, give up runs. That's how they're rated. And all batters also have a third rating, which is based on stolen bases, their ability to steal bases, and that can be effective here on the main diamond chart. Let's look at the main diamond chart. For the third batter in the inning, could be the 4th, 5th, however long it goes until there are 3 outs, those batters would roll on the main event charts. Obviously, we're using 4 dice, so we're looking at results from 4 to 24, but they can extend. They can extend under 4, and they extend over 24, and again, that's based on player ratings. On the main diamond chart is where you're going to have ratings affect the outcome of the results. The ratings of the batter versus the pitcher, and if there's a lefty-righty matchup, that means lefty batter, lefty pitcher, righty batter, righty pitcher, will also go into effect for the result of the play. Stolen bases are also figured out here as well, because if you look at the charts closely, as we see here, looking at them closely, a stolen base, for instance, might say stolen base 1 to 6, caught stealing 7 to 12. That's on a normal rating where a player does not have a stolen base number. If he has a rating, that number is going to be added or subtracted from the result. So his abilities, his rating now comes into effect if there is a stolen base attempt. Again, that's how the game plays. So on the main diamond chart, ratings come into play. But if you look here to number 7, 8, 10 and 11, we have batter and pitcher charts. So now we are going to flip over to those charts and what happens when they come into play. Now what we need to explain is with 4-dice baseball, you're rolling 4 dice and you're rolling on the main chart 2 additional 12-siders. You want to roll them all at one time because you want the results to come out quickly and you want them to come out where they're not going to have to require a reroll. Usually one time is all you need. So in this case, if you roll a batter or a pitcher chart, you would then go to your 12-sided die to determine the outcome of the result of the play based on the pitcher's rating, if it's a pitcher card, and you got the pitcher comes up, or if it's a batter rating, based on the batter's rating. So you don't need to make the adjustments again between your pitchers and batter ratings because they are already factored in to your batter and pitcher charts. And then there's also a nice little reference there for play. So with 4-dice baseball, it's pretty simple. It's pretty clean and pretty cut. You start with the situational cards to figure out the first 2 batters of the inning. And then you move on to the main diamond chart. And then move on to the pitcher or batter charts if need be. And that's where your results happen. And the key fun factor is when you roll the dice, the 4-sided dice, if you get a 4 of a kind at any point, it is an automatic home run. If you get 3 of a kind, it's an automatic single. Doubles are singles. So they will supersede any results on the chart, which makes the game even that much more fun. But the key factor that makes it fun is when you're moving up and down these charts based on ratings and you see what result would have been had that player or pitcher not been rated there and what the final outcome really is. It really sets the tone for the match, the game, and it really gives you a storyline for whether or not the batter was in charge or if the pitcher was dominant. So that's in a nutshell for 4-dice baseball. Again, it's the full play game with quick play results. Other questions you have, feel free to leave them below or shoot me an email. But this game is available. And again, for more information, go to the Scorecard Games and More site for the best and complete 4-dice baseball. This game is available along with the instructions for rating your own players. You can easily rate your own players, rate your own teams in a matter of minutes, but we will have themed sets and fantasy sets to go along with it, and we will be making them available too if you want to purchase them, because what we found out is, well, people want to know how to rate players so they can do it themselves. A lot of us would just rather pay a couple of bucks and just have the teams rated for us. So either way, whatever's your convenience, you can see it with 4-dice baseball. Available now for just $10 in PDF form. Again, you get 96 situational cards to get you going with your game for the first 2 batters of the inning. Some do not want to print out the situational cards, and they've come up with a new idea, a new mechanic, because it comes out in 8 pages. There's 8 pages of 12 cards, and they would rather roll the dice for them. So they can roll the dice. You can roll an 8-sided die to represent what sheet you get. And then the 12 dice, the 12-sided die, would represent the actual card on that sheet. And then you roll the 4d6s, and that would tell you the result of the outcome of the at-bat. You can do it that way too, but we're just trying to, again, streamline it so it is indeed a full play, quick play game. But there you have it. 4-dice baseball by Scorecard Games and More. I'm Kevin Elias. Thanks for watching.